everyone, Chef Leroy here and welcome to the channel. Well guys, I'm doing a dish today that I really enjoyed, and it's the first time I'm using a specific type of rice. And this one is a Mexican rice. It's a short grain rice, and this one is called Verde Valley, and it's said to be Mexico's #1 rice. Anyway, this rice was hard for me to get the recipe down. I'm doing it in a pressure cooker, so you have to switch up the cooking process that they have on the bag. The bag is a stovetop method, so I had to convert that into a pressure cooker. Anyway, it took me about 6 batches to figure this thing out. The main thing with the rice is rinse it really well with cold water. That's the one thing you want to do. And then drain it really well. Okay, this is how you rinse your rice. So we have our rice in the bowl, pouring some cold water over the top of it, and then drain off that water nice and carefully so you don't dump your rice into the sink, and then repeat. You do this several times until that water becomes nice and clear and it's not starchy. Okay, we're at that point where the water is nice and clear. We're going to go ahead and dump that rice into a strainer. Make sure it's a fine mesh strainer. And we're going to just let it sit around until all that water is completely drained from the rice. Alright, while your rice is draining, we're going to go ahead and prep our other items for the adobo rice. I've got my pressure cooker here. This is my Breville pressure cooker. This is the adobo seasoning you're going to use. I've got 3½ cups of hot water. We're going to go ahead and add 2 teaspoons of that adobo seasoning to the water. Alright, we're going to go ahead and add oil to our pressure cooker. I'm using avocado oil. I'm using 2 teaspoons. Just go ahead and dump it right in there. Just like that. Alright, now we're going to add chicken base to my water. So this is Carlsberger base that we have locally here. I'm using 2 teaspoons of this base. As you can see, it's a paste type base. You can use other types. You might just have to adjust the amount with the amount of sodium. Go ahead and mix that in really well. And one of the reasons why I put the oil in there first before the base is it actually pops out of this teaspoon really nice and easy. Alright, I have these ingredients in the water. We're going to go ahead and whisk everything together. Make sure that base is mixed in really well. We are ready to go into the pressure cooker. Alright, we got everything mixed well. We're going to go ahead and add the water ingredients to the pressure cooker. Just like that. Alright, go ahead and add your drained rice to your liquid. Alright, go ahead and mix the rice and liquid together a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and close it up and set our time. Alright, place the cover on top, lock it in place. Go ahead and make sure your valve is closed. And I have this little dial on mine that you can go low, medium, high. I always keep mine on medium. Mine's a Breville, so you might have a different style. Alright, now it's time to set the time. So we put it on pressure and we go up to 6 minutes and hit start. And there you go. Just let it cook. Alright, I got my large saute pan on the stove. This is a nonstick, as you can see, and I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of avocado oil. You can use whatever kind of oil you want. You don't need too much oil on a nonstick, so there you go. Vegetables here, we have 2 large cloves of garlic minced. I've got a carrot, which isn't very common with this dish, and celery as well. But just to let you know what I had here, and I was just using some stuff up in my refrigerator. So I've got a 1/2 cup of carrot diced, 1/2 cup of celery diced, and then I've got what's equivalent to a large sweet bell pepper. I used an orange and a yellow. I've got a 1/2 of a yellow onion diced. I've got 1 small green bell pepper diced, and I've got 1 small poblano pepper diced. Let's go ahead and add that right to your pan. Okay, we're going to saute this off. When this is sauteed, we're going to add our chicken. This chicken was seasoned with adobo seasoning and grilled, okay? And I used my Ninja wood fire grill to do it. It's 1½ pounds of cooked chicken. So if you're going to do it and you want 1½ pounds of cooked chicken, you have to have a little bit more raw to make it. And this is the adobo right here, a Goya seasoning. And this one is with cumin. So it's pretty salty, so be careful how much you use. Again, this is seasoned a little bit, and the rice I'm making is also seasoned. So this is what the rice looks like. I put some corn. I had corn on the cob just recently, so we cut some off the cob. That should be interesting to tie it into this dish. And I'm also going to use probably about a half a cup of diced tomatoes to it. All right, well, we're going to add these later, so let's just let this part here cook. Need a spoon to move it around a bit. And so what you want to do is you want to just make sure that your vegetables are soft, because everything else that's going in here is already cooked. So the main thing is like the carrots, right? Because I put carrot in mine, and just make sure they're tender. And they still are not, so we're going to go ahead and let this cook longer. Now, as far as the flavor, got a lot of vegetable in here, a lot of different vegetables, and we have the adobo that's in the rice and will be on the chicken. So I'm being ultra careful on how much seasoning I'm using. So I'm going to have to season maybe at the end, or maybe we'll be good. So first time I'm making this, I kind of got inspired by a pre-made product that I saw at the store in the frozen section. So here we are, developing a brand new recipe. All right, everybody. So I had this resting for 10 minutes. After 6 minutes, and I have to let a little bit of pressure off. Okay, let's give it a stir. I think it looks pretty good for what we're going to be doing. Adobo rice. Okay, everything's been cooking for a bit, so it looks really nice. I wanted it to build a little bit of that moisture up, just so I can add it, the chicken to it, help moisten that up a little bit. Try to get a piece of carrot. Oh yeah, perfect. Okay. Now I haven't really determined how much rice I'm going to add to this. I made it. All right, go ahead and add that grilled chicken to your pan. All right, go ahead and mix that chicken in really well, and then we're going to go ahead and cover it. I'm going to heat it on a medium temperature, get everything nice and hot, and then we'll go ahead and add that rice to it. All right, we are ready to add rice to our dish. Look at that steam. Woo, hot. All right, this is 4 cups of rice. All right, give it a cover. Gonna turn it up just a little bit to steam it. And that is gonna be a fantastic dish. All right, guys, I'm gonna show you what this looks like as I'm dishing it up. And otherwise, that's all I got for you guys today. Adobo chicken rice. We're back at the pan, and just full disclosure, I did add about a cup of fresh tomato to this, and now we're going to add some cilantro, just fresh chopped. Well, I think the addition of the tomatoes and this fresh cilantro really made this dish pop. Here we go, dishing it up, and I'll tell you what, it smells fantastic, and then we also served it with some sauteed zucchini.